Nikko Allen Jenkins was born on September 16, 1986, in Colorado, to parents David A. McGee and Lori Jenkins. His family were notorious for being violent criminals dating back generations, and he and his siblings' childhoods were all filled with violence, physical abuse and criminal activity by their parents. Both his parents were convicted multiple times on different charges, and 3 out of his 5 sisters also have criminal records. Nikko had a troubled life early on, and was witness and victim to many traumatic events before the age of 8. He was in and out of juvenile, state care and mental treatment facilities from a young age. He suffered with bedwetting, anxiety, and nightmares due to the things he was experiencing at home, and was subsequently removed and put into foster care. Leading up to adulthood, he spent the majority of time locked up for various charges and incidents, or due to mental health complications. The time he did get to spend as a free man, he got involved with gangs and was committing crimes varying from assault, robbery, to things like arson, which ultimately led up to him being incarcerated for long periods of time. While incarcerated, he was charged twice, for his part in inciting a prison riot in 2006, as well as for assaulting prison guards. Nevertheless, Nikko only spent 10.5 years of his 21-year sentence, and was released in July of 2013. The time spent in prison did not have the intended effect on Nikko, and at one point before his release, he even requested to not be released as he said that he might kill again. And true to his word, just 2 weeks after his release from prison, Nikko ended up committing 4 murders in a span of just a few days. At about 5 a.m. on the morning of August 11, 2013, a patrol officer discovered 2 bodies in a white Ford pickup truck, parked near a city swimming pool in Spring Lake Park. The 2 victims, identified as Juan Pena and Jorge Ruiz, had been shot in the head, and their pockets turned inside out. They were lured there thinking that they would be able to have sexual relations with 2 women. This random double murder was the beginning of Nikko's killing spree. 8 days later, on August 19, at around 7 a.m., the body of Curtis Bradford was found outside a detached garage, by a man returning home from a night shift at a convenience store. Investigators arrived to find 2 bullet wounds in Bradford's back. It was later revealed that Nikko and Curtis were prison mates, and Curtis had even posted a picture of the both of them just an hour before his friend shot him in the back. Nikko's final victim was a young mother of 3, named Andrea Kruger, who worked as a bartender at the Deja Vu Lounge at 178th and Pacific Street in Omaha. In the early hours of August 21, around 1:45 a.m., Andrea was captured on a surveillance camera as she locked up the Deja Vu Lounge. She was on her way home when she was unfortunately spotted by Nikko Jenkins. At 2:08 a.m., a deputy sheriff headed in her direction while responding to a shots fired call. And at 2:15 a.m., Andrea Kruger's body was discovered in the street near the intersection of 168th and 4th Streets, with multiple bullet wounds. Her abandoned SUV was located by police about 16 hours later, in an alley near 43rd and Charles Streets. The local sheriff said that someone had made a feeble attempt to set the vehicle on fire. On August 30, 2013, Nikko was arrested on an unrelated terroristic threats charge. By then, evidence had mounted against him. He was seen along with his sister Erica at a local gun store, buying the kind of distinctive ammunition that had been used to commit the killings. Additionally, footage from cameras along the route to Kruger's abandoned SUV showed Nikko in the vehicle. On the evening of September 3, Nikko confessed to all 4 murders during a rambling 8-hour interview. Throughout the interview, Nikko used different reasons to justify his acts. For the first 5 hours, he blamed the killings on his cousins. Later on, Nikko told police that the acts were sacrifices to Apophis, a serpent deity in the ancient Egyptian religion. He said that he was possessed by a demon, and was compelled to make human sacrifices to the snake god. At one point, Nikko also mentioned that he wanted to get revenge on the faulty correction system, which had discarded him without ever treating his mental illness. In handwritten letters dated November 3, 2013, submitted to the Omaha World Herald, prosecutors, and a judge, Nikko said he wished to plead guilty to all counts in the 4 killings, and that he would protect Apophis' kingdom with animalistic savage brutality. On February 19, 2014, Nikko filed a federal lawsuit seeking $24.5 million from the state of Nebraska for wrongfully releasing him from prison, stating that his claims of hearing voices from Apophis were repeatedly ignored. In the 6-page handwritten filing, he stated that being kept in solitary confinement augmented his schizophrenia. He blamed corrections officials for the 4 killings. Nikko claimed that his problems were caused by mental illness, and that he had schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and obsessive-compulsive disorder. Before the trial had started, Nikko's lawyer claimed that his client was not competent to stand trial. The judge ordered a psychiatric evaluation, and a psychiatrist concluded that Nikko did in fact have antisocial personality disorder, but was faking psychotic symptoms. The motion was declined, and the trial began in April. Against his lawyer's advice, Nikko testified in his own defense, saying he was fighting for his life. Throughout the trial, Nikko maintained that he acts under the command of Apophis. His courtroom antics included speaking in tongues, howling, and laughing as prosecutors recounted the details of his victims' deaths. On April 16, 2014, Judge Peter Bataillon found Nikko Jenkins guilty of all 4 murders. Nikko was scheduled to be sentenced on August 11, 2014, but the date was delayed indefinitely. Until it was determined whether Nikko was capable of understanding the death penalty proceedings against him, Nikko was to be housed at the Lincoln Regional Center Psychiatric Hospital. But authorities at the Lincoln Regional Center refused to house Nikko, claiming inadequate security. However, doctors from a prison in Lincoln agreed to treat him. While at the prison, Nikko had mutilated himself, in an attempt to show that he was not in his right mind. Despite his poor attempts to make his case, that he was not mentally fit to face the death penalty charges, Nikko was declared competent for a second time in March 2015. However, once again, the court hearing couldn't take place on the set date as Nikko had mutilated himself, again. At the end of 2015, his self-mutilations got even worse, as he tried to carve his penis in order to make it look like a snake, in an apparent homage to the snake god Apophis. Self-harm incidents happened over and over again, which delayed the hearing several times. The death penalty hearing eventually took place in May of 2017. Nikko Jenkins was finally sentenced to death by a 3-judge panel. He was also sentenced to 450 years in prison on weapons charges related to the murders. It was also revealed later that Nikko wasn't alone when he committed the first 3 murders. It turned out that his sister Erica played a crucial role in the killings. Before Nikko shot the first 2 victims, he and Erica robbed the 2 men. And the siblings tricked Nikko's former prison mate, Curtis Bradford, into thinking that all 3 of them would be robbing a new victim together, before murdering him. Erica was eventually sentenced to life in prison for first-degree murder. It was also reported that she was the one who shot Bradford first, and when Nikko shot him a second time, Erica apparently yelled at her brother for ruining her first kill. After his sentencing, Nikko was transferred to Tecumseh State Correctional Institution in Nebraska, where he's currently being held. He has since made multiple failed attempts to commit suicide, and his lawyer filed multiple motions that Nikko was too mentally ill to be executed. So far, all appeals have been rejected. Nikko made many attempts to enter an insanity plea, but at the same time, he consistently told corrections officers and a judge that he wasn't going to take medications for his mental illness. There have been many re-evaluations of Nikko's mental state since his sentencing, and there have been some conflicting reports. Some psychiatrists claim that Nikko suffers from schizophrenia, but others deny it. This has made setting a date for Nikko's execution difficult, as there is no consensus on whether or not Nikko is mentally fit to be executed. Whatever the case, it is certain that Nikko will never be a part of society, as he is incontrovertibly deemed to be a threat to others and himself. The families of his victims can find closure in the fact that he can no longer hurt anyone else, and will, in one way or another, pay for his crimes. What are your thoughts on Nikko Jenkins' sentencing? Do you think he deserves to be executed? Or do you think there should be more deliberation on his mental state? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we hope you found our video interesting. Like, comment and subscribe for more fascinating unsolved mysteries.